What is up, Packers fans, and welcome back to another episode of Packer Report TV. I am your host and the publisher of that very website, Ross Uglum. And no surprise reveal this week for Dusty Evely because you already know he's coming. Dusty, how the hell are you?
I'm good, dude. It's been an interesting week, a different kind of week for looking at Packers stuff, for sure. But yeah, it's been I'm doing good, man. Been a good fun week here.
Yeah, it's funny. I tweeted while the game was going on. I said the Green Bay Packers are now North Dakota State. So welcome you all to this. And then I was listening to the new version of the PFF NFL podcast where because Sam and Steve
Yeah.
has moved on, or have moved on to the 33rd team, and I felt good in what I tweeted because then Trevor Sycamore was like, I thought I had turned on Kansas State film watching Green Bay. Well, where did the Kansas State staff
Mhm.
come from? North Dakota State. I mean, this was real, like run it 4 times for every time you throw it, just dirty, nasty, smash mouth football. What did you think? I mean, and in saying all that, I mean, the guys over at PFF said like this is the best coached game we've seen this season.
Yeah.
I know as Packers fans who have a certain lens, Matt LaFleur right now I would say has a very high approval rating. What are your thoughts on kind of the outside world referring to this as such a well coached game or a great scheme?
Yeah, no, I think it's awesome. I mean, I had not listened to that one yet. I listened to Athletic Football Show, and that was Robert Mays and Derek Klassen basically said the same thing. Like this. I don't know about best coach game. It's like this is a masterclass from the floor. This is yet another bit of proof that he is one of the better play callers, designers, schemers in the league. And I mean, I'm curious what comes next. But this is you're looking at what they were going to do, what they could possibly do in this game with Malik Willis. I watched Malik Willis. You watched Malik Willis. Like, you know what he is. You
Yeah.
can't scheme like a pass heavy game around him. You can't. But how do you scheme a game around him where you know it's going to be run heavy and the defense knows it's going to be run heavy? Now, Gus Bradley didn't really make a ton of adjustments to the second half. So we'll see what shakes out of this. But in terms of what they're running, how deep he went into this run game, what they're running, the counters off of this, the way he was able to run out of a lot of the same looks, a lot of the same formations, and still keep them off balance was incredible. I mean, to say nothing of the play design itself, the actual sequencing of it all to set up and then run counter to that was incredible. Now, I've not watched every single game to the level I do the Packers, so I can't say best coach game. But listen, we're in week 2, and what he did with a QB that has not been here very long, I think it's certainly got to be in the conversation. I mean, I thought it just an incredible game plan that was carried out very, very well.
Oh, and I mean, you listen to if you pay attention to like the Owen Tombstone stuff from Justice Mosqueda, 11% of teams that start 0-2 make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
This was, I mean, you would call it whatever you want. You call it a season-saving win. I mean, you have an 89% chance, even with the expanded playoff, you have an 89% chance that your season is over when you start 0-2, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's like I wrote on Thursday. I said the season cannot have ended with 5 minutes left or 5 seconds left in the first game. And it didn't. And I think a huge part of that was the game plan. I want to start with, we're both going to do offensive run concepts. If you guys are following along, that would be Q1, 14 minutes, 31 seconds left. This is really the first version of counter that they ran, or first version of what Dusty kind of talked to me in the pre-game or pre-show meeting about as sort of their spinner look. I mean, it's the wing tee, guys. That's what it is. You can go back to some old school, like cross buck. I mean, this is high school football. And it was done in just an absolutely beautiful way. You see Tucker Kraft in a wing position, Jacobs to Willis's left, and Reed's lined up in the backfield as well. They sort of offer some eye candy with Jaden Reed going to the outside, and then pull Elton Jenkins to kick out the end. And Josh Jacobs follows Tucker Kraft through the hole. Kraft gets a great block. Awesome play side double team by Sean Ryan and Zach Tom. Sean Ryan was moving people. I still might ask for some more in pass pro from Sean Ryan, but he was moving people, and you just see the beauty in the design where I think 45 might be EJ speed. I'm not 100% sure, but the movement from Reed allows 2 false steps from the linebacker, from the weak side linebacker. Tucker Kraft coming through the hole blocks the play side linebacker, and that's an 8-yard gain because of the 2 false steps from the weak side linebacker. And it was simple, beautiful in its execution. Like I said, you'll see high school teams, you'll see like old school Army, Navy, Georgia Tech, like running this stuff. Now that quarterback's under center, but when you talk about landmarks for the offensive lineman and you talk about paths for the quarterback and for the running back, it's all the same stuff. And to win an NFL game, and by the way, Josh Jacobs doesn't fumble that one into the end zone. It's 17 rip early.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been a barnstormer. And would they have had to, and Indy did make some adjustments. That was something I mentioned in the preview show for Pack Report TV. Gus Bradley's going to run Seattle cover 3. It don't matter. It just don't. And God bless him, but that's what he's going to run. And it did take a while for the Colts to make adjustments to what Green Bay was doing in this scheme.
Yeah, that was my thought as well. He's running cover 3. He's got that single high. It's like where they're going to stack the box. Well, they're already kind of like got an extra guy in the box anyway, but you also know how to scheme around that. So you do have those adjustments. Those certainly did come in later, but early on, they knew what he was going to run, which he basically ran the same thing until halftime anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
At that point, he adjusted, and you're like, oh, okay, like they started doing something now. But like you said, if Jacobs doesn't fumble that, if Narveson doesn't miss that, they win this going away. Like it's not even close at this point. So mine is, I mean, a lot of the same stuff you just mentioned, and what we talked about LaFleur earlier. That this is a perfect example to the fact where when you asked what play I wanted to do, and I mentioned what play I
yelled
wanted
at
to do, you yelled at me.
Yes,
you yelled at me over text, saying you would do that one, and I am Ross. This is one of the big ones of the game, right? This was it's 1st and 10. This is first quarter 5:25. This is 11 personnel. Packers are in 11 personnel. They bring Kraft back into the backfield. And so they've got like this, it looks like pistol, but it's not really pistol because they're in shotgun. Packers do like 5-yard shotgun, and Jacobs they align their back so deep that it looks like pistol, but it's basically shotgun with like an extra, a back like 9 yards in the backfield. Jacobs directly behind, Kraft offset to the left. You've got this kind of like power look to the left, where Kraft is essentially your fullback. You've got Musgrave on that left side. You've got, I think it's Watson Kraken on the left there as well. And you've got Melton as your lone on the right. They've been running, like you said, they've been running inside zone. So you're running straight ahead. They've also been running this counter stuff where you fake the step and you pull that guard and you follow the guard. This is then off of that. So first step, you get Jacobs like a shuffle step to the left. Kraft looks like he's pulling to the right, basically across the quarterback's face. They're attacking the right side. They pull Jenkins as that left guard. They pull him around. So you're triggering the defense to come down. All right, they're running counter. They're attacking the right. You got the linebackers. By this point, dude, I mean, linebackers are in hell. Linebackers had no idea what was going on. They're looking at the right. They're looking to attack the right. Love then pulls it. So you've got Jenkins pulling right. Josh Myers pulls from the center position to essentially be a lead out to the left. And you also have Kraft then reversing from what looks like his initial tackling to the right. He's pulling back to the left. And then Melton comes around from his spot behind. He runs that end around there. So you've got this, again, it looks like a counter to the right because you've got the pulling guards. You've got all this stuff to trigger there. Colts have kind of a run blitz on to the offensive right. So it looks like they got him. Willis does what looks like then again this kind of spinner stuff, right? Where he's gonna like he gives to, looks like he's given to Jacobs, spins around, gives to Melton. You now have Kraft and Myers again pulling from the center position. For anything you want to say about Myers, dude can move in space. Dude can absolutely move in space. So they got him pulling. Watson's cracking down. He misses his block, but Myers is out in front. Kraft is out in front. Melton has a huge lane because you pulled everyone over to the right. He ends up getting 16 yards on center run. Like just an absolute, like, just beautiful bit of misdirection, not only from everything you're pulling, but everything you're playing off of that you had before that. They're trying to get aggressive. They're run blitzing to the counter side, trying to get that, and then you just absolutely go against that. Again, this is the play itself is great. The sequencing for when they ran that based on what they had shown already, just a tremendous bit of ball, man.
Absolutely. No, I think the offensive game plan was spectacular. To get to 16, I kind of had said in the preview, like, just get to 20, and they should have. I mean, they absolutely should have gotten to 20, and then pray that your defense can do better than they did against Philly, and that's what I wanted to bring you to now would be the defense. What did you think of kind of Halfley, their scheme, what they were able to do, not on a skating rink in Brazil, but I think this is what we wanted, right? This is what we were hoping for. I thought there was some. I struggled with Quay Walker's individual performance, to Keyshawn Nixon's individual performance, but I think if you're watching this team and this defense, this is what you wanted to see. The one thing I'll say too, and I really am buying what the coaches are selling. I think people are really concerned about the pass rush, really concerned about productivity, things of that nature. When they say we're really happy with the defensive line, we were mush rushing Jalen Hurts and mush rushing Anthony Richardson. You go back and watch the film; they're not lying. And I'm not saying that the defensive line has played spectacularly necessarily, but when they say they're not jet rushing Anthony Richardson and Jalen Hurts, they're being honest.
Well, I can't remember if we talked about it here last week. I certainly talked about it somewhere last week, but you could watch that last week. You could watch first step. They're pushing, like you're crushing the pocket. If it's not there, if you're not getting free in a way they wanted to, you could see like Devontae Wyatt, especially like against the Eagles. And you had even, I think I even mentioned like Rashawn Gary, who like the joke on Rashawn Gary, like he can't keep contained. Even Rashawn Gary these past couple weeks, if that first move isn't there in a lane, yeah, like they're backing off, like they're making that initial push, then they're backing up and they're looking. I mean, I do have some concerns still about like some of the depth there, like LVN. I'm not sold on LVN at this point, but you can watch them. Like they're not pinning their ears back. This is not like 4 down and go. They're not pinning their ears back and trying to get after the quarterback. They had a very specific plan. I thought they did well. And I think the pieces are there. I mean, you mentioned Nixon, dude, Bullard looks incredible. Like if Bullard's in that role, if they start to like say Evan Williams as kind of more of that box guy or something, and then Javon Bullard basically becomes your nickel. Like I think the pieces are there. Now I'm not ready to say put Edgerrin Cooper in every single defensive snap, but if you watch the speed at which Cooper plays with versus the speed that Quay, it's not that big of a stretch to say like at some point we can see a much more aggressive defense if Edge gets more snaps. And I don't think Quay's going anywhere necessarily, but you can see like the speed and physicality. I think those pieces are there once they get up to speed. I thought it was good. I mean, like I said, I think there was certainly some issues, and I think Quay and Nixon are at the heart of that. But like the pieces they've got on this team, man, like I think they look fine now, but they've got the pieces to be very, very good down the stretch, I think.
And I think, look, I'm hopeful for improvement, hopeful for whatever. But the problem is that I think the pieces are in place. I think you could play Hopper at the mic. I think you could play McDuffie at the mic at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
And if you're not ready for the Tyron Hopper experience, play McDuffie, Eric Wilson, and Edgerrin Cooper together. Eric Wilson
a great game, dude.
Oh, my gosh. One of the better football games you'll just see anybody play. And I think he's deserving of some time.
But he just shut down the option single-handedly. He took 3 lanes on that option.
And his chase down LeBron forced fumble was crazy. I made the joke in my group chat that actually Javon Bullard is the best slot corner on the team and Eric Wilson is second after watching that pick. But the Nixon stuff, I think, is really the unforced error that's being made right now. Evan Williams was not revolutionary, but he was very good. I watched every snap because I can. I like the way that the some of the new ways you can watch film and hey, I want every Evan Williams snap. Guys, he's fine. He is more than fine at the second safety to Xavier McKinney, meaning that your best slot area defender can play, and it's not 25, it's 20.
Yeah.
And that's the unforced error, is they don't need Nixon on the field on defense. And I don't know how long before they would actually make that change. And that part of it's a little bit concerning. People talk about his contract, and I will say, I mean, they can get out of that deal after this year. The biggest thing about that deal, other than I wouldn't have done it, but the biggest thing about that deal is it sort of seems like, at least right now, and maybe there are future changes to be made, the attempt to bring the kickoff back with whatever this is has failed, meaning that the value you thought you were getting in Keyshawn Nixon as a kick returner is not existent, because teams are like, whatever, take it at the 30. It's not that different than the 25. Take it at the 30. We're not doing this. And so if he's in a below average nickel in the NFL and there is no kick return, you cannot pay him $6 million a year. But this is a film show, so we're done. Let's not get too deep in the weeds there.
We'll just focus on Nixon at some point, and we'll have an excuse to talk about Nixon alone.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching or listening. If you are on the podcast side, you can follow me. I'm at Ross Uglum on X, formerly known as Twitter. He is at Dusty Evilly. Have a great rest of your day, guys, and go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.